Defects, welcome to the Defective Market Analysis. We're taking 5 comic books that we consider market indicator books. These comics don't necessarily make huge moves based on news, but move more with the overall market. In 2 months, we're going to come back to these same 5 books and see where they stand. Let's crunch some numbers, Defects.
All right, Matty Forge, I know you're the numbers guy, so let's crunch some numbers.
Let's do it.
First up, Defects from 1974, we have the Incredible Hulk number 181. Is it the first appearance of Wolverine? Is it the cameo? Everyone has their own opinion. We'll let you guys decide in the comments. But let's look at some numbers. All right, guys. In a CGC 9.0, let's look at some averages. In 2021, we had 40 copies sold of a 9.0, averaging $11,385. In 2022, comes down a little bit, 38 copies sold, averaging at $10,196. The 12-month average, 43 copies sold, averaging at $8,601. We have the 90-day average coming in at $8,463 with 17 copies sold. So a big drop off there. And our last sale, September of 2023, this month, $8,100, guys. So you could see there at the graph, you see the kind of spike up around 2018. You see it spike during those COVID years and then start to come back down.
Yeah, I should have mentioned the grades that we picked. So like you see a 9.0 here. Essentially what I did is I went down GPA analysis and I found what had the most volume in the 90-day. And that's the grade we chose to do the analysis on. So it was surprising to me that a 9.0 was the most sold book in the last 90 days for the Hulk 181. Just to kind of follow up on what Jay said, the graph here doesn't look too bad compared to some of the other graphs we're going to see here. But all red indicators across all red across all the indicators. But the last sale is not too far off that 12-month average, which is a pretty good sign. Only a 6% drop. I think obviously, Jay, the Deadpool 3 news probably held this book up just a little bit. I did mention earlier on, a lot of these books don't move too much with the news, but clearly nothing is fully immune to moving up or down with news. But I think this book held pretty well, all things considered. Look at another slide here. So the low of 2023 is essentially equal to the high of 2020. So I know a lot of people are crying, the sky is falling because of the drop-offs. Look at the high of 2021 there, 15,000 compared to the last sale of 8,100. That's like a 42% drop, something like that. But if you really go back to pre-COVID, and you look at those 2020 numbers, we're higher. The last sale is actually higher than the high of 2020. So I think that's a good indicator. And throughout the show, we're going to look at volume a lot. The volume is down a little bit in 2023. Obviously, we're only 9 months in, but I think we're going to end up with more volume than 2022 and maybe even 2021. So volume's a good indicator that a lot of people don't talk about. So that's my analysis on this one. So you got anything else, Jay? Follow up?
No, just saying, guys, what you already know. During the COVID years, the market spiked tremendously. We had a bunch of investors that weren't into the hobby coming into the hobby to buy collectibles. They see what Pokemon cards were doing. They see what sport cards were doing. So it kind of makes sense that people aren't letting these books go for maybe what they paid for them around that time of COVID. But it looks like you said, Matt, everything's getting back on track and the market's kind of correcting itself, but still keeping itself a little bit higher. But what isn't higher nowadays? Groceries, gas, everything is up. So makes perfect sense.
Good point. What do we got next? A little DC book?
Here we go, guys. Batman number 251, guys. Classic Neil Adams cover. Let's take a look at some numbers. So here we go. Batman 251 from 1973. like I said, that classic Neil cover, the Neil Adams cover. Again, a CGC 9.0, 2021 average $1,309 with 14 copies sold. 2022 average $1,547, up from 2021 with the same amount of 14 copies sold. The 12-month average is at $1,340 with 18 copies sold. The 90-day is up $1,416 with 6 copies sold. And the last sale last month, August of 2023, at $1,365.
Yeah, when we were talking before the show, I know Jay mentioned, that spike, we saw because of Neil Adams' death, right?
Yep.
And it's interesting to see. I wanted to put a DC book on the list because they definitely are a little bit less volatile than the Marvel books during that COVID spike, the COVID years. So interesting to see that the last sale, the 90-day, they're all looking okay. You could see that graph. It's still generally in an upward direction, or at least flat at a minimum. So, and then just real quick here, you could see the last sale, 1365, is obviously lower than the high for this year at 1925, but still higher than the high for 2020, guys. Okay, and obviously still higher than the high for 2019. So while we are down about a little less than half from the high of 2022 at 2500 based on the last sale, it still looks pretty good. Some of those major sales in 2021, 2022, I don't want to say you throw them away, but you can't always just focus on those. Again, look at the volume. We're pretty much on par by the end of the year. I'm sure we're going to have 14, 15, 16 copies sold. So it's not like the market is soft on this book. Obviously, prices have softened, but people are still buying.
Looking to clean and press your books before submission? Well, look no further than the best in the business, Erod 212 with Express Comic Book Pressing Service. Defects 10 gets you 10% off. Erod will submit your books to CGC and CBCS and pass along his discount. Hit him up on Instagram or email expresscbp@yahoo.com.
Up next, guys, this iconic book, Fantastic Four, number 48, The Coming of Galactus, first cameo of Galactus, first full appearance of the Silver Surfer. Pull up them numbers, Maddie. All right, guys, we got this at a CGC 5.0, the 2021 average $2,664 with 35 copies sold. 2022 average is $2,346 with 34 copies sold. We have the 12-month average in at $1,684 with 51 books sold, so coming down in value, but more copies sold. The 90-day average coming in at $1,428 with 12 copies sold. And the last sale, September 2023, this month at $1,205. And you could see that spike up and trending all the way back down.
Yeah, the 2023 has not been kind to this book. We're down, right across all indicators, 30% down off of the 12-month average. And as you're going to see next, we are down 70% from the 2021 high. But I'm going to show the good and the bad here, okay? When you compare the highs and the lows of 2023 to the highs and the lows of 2020 and 2019, we're still in pretty good shape, right? Look at the highs and lows on the screen there. You can see for yourself, we're still in a better place than we were in 2020, okay, for this. And look at the volume. I think the volume is the biggest indicator here on this one, that the book, that people are starting to say like, hey, this is a good price. I want to buy this book. And eventually that is going to level off the price. 37 copies sold with 3 months left in the year. So already higher than 2022, already higher than 2021 and 2020. And I'm sure we're going to get another 10 copies sold. So we'll be higher than 2019. That is a good thing for the price on this book. It should level it out. Anything you want to add here to this Grail, Jay?
Yeah, in my opinion, Defects. This is the perfect time if you're in the market to buy this book, because we all know the Fantastic Four is coming into the MCU. There's heavy rumors that Galactus is going to be the villain, and you don't do Galactus without the Silver Surfer. And I think once Silver Surfer pops up on the silver screen, and if the MCU gets this right, this book's going to spike back up. It's not the best cover. I think the cover hurts this book.
Sure.
That 49 cover is a killer. But if you're in the market for the first appearance of the Silver Surfer, you might want to get them while it's open, guys.
We know this one.
A fan favorite of the Pressable Defects, ASM number 129, first full appearance of Frank Castle, the Punisher. Beautiful cover. You see it behind me. Let's get into some numbers. All right, guys, in a CGC Blue Label 6.5, we have the 2021 average at $1,912 at 46 copies sold. 2022, we have $2,014 with 49 copies sold. The 12-month average, $1,536 with 68 copies sold. So trending down, but people are buying more. The 90-day average, $1,398 with 23 copies sold. And last sale, $1,350 from September of 2023. Whew.
Yeah, I like this graph. I told you some of the graphs were going to look good and some not so good. But the fact that the 90-day and the last sale are very close is a good indicator that this book is starting to level off a little bit. Right? I said that these books didn't necessarily move up with movie news and different types of news, but clearly nothing is immune to that. This is a book that people want on their PC no matter what. But we did get a little bit of, John Bernthal news, so that held this book up a little bit, but you could see the trend is downward. But I feel like this book is starting to level off, and that's a good sign. That's a good sign if you're a holder or just in the comic market in general. $1,350, that last sale is over half off of the 2021 high, but it's still much higher than the 2022 low, and it's still much higher than the 2019 high and low. Okay, and again, look at the volume on this book. It's already higher with 3 months to go in the year. It's already higher than every other year other than 2019, and that's going to be probably broken in the next couple days. We are in correction phase. We'll talk a little bit about that more at the end when we wrap everything up here. Anything else you want to mention on Frank here?
No, just a couple of things too. It's down. Matt mentioned that John Bernthal is going to be reprising his role as the Punisher in the Daredevil series, but in comic news, we don't have a Frank Castle anymore. They kind of buried Frank with a new Punisher on his way in October of 2023. Could this affect this? Could this drop down more? Is this the perfect time to buy this book? I mean, I think it could drop a little more, guys, so you might want to be a little patient depending on what the show does and if Marvel ever brings back the Punisher, which I think they will. Yowzer. Here we go, guys. We got the Campbell Amazing Spider-Man number 607. Matt wanted to hit you with some modern, and boy, did he hit you with it. Let's crunch them numbers, Matty. All right, guys, for a book from 2009, if it's a modern book, we're going to bring it to you in a CGC 9.8. So let's take a look at the numbers. The 2021 average, $240 with 61 copies sold. The 2022 average, $274 with 59 copies sold. Looking at the 12-month, $248 with 52 copies sold. The 90-day average drops down a lot with the number sold at 7 and valued at $236. And the last sale, September of 2023, at $230. So very close to where it started off in 2021.
Yeah, graph looking not too bad. I wanted to kind of pull a wild card, a modern, it's hard to find a modern book that's not tied to some type of speculation. And I wanted to find something that was a little bit more stable. Now, clearly, as you can see here from the highs and lows of each year, we had a $384 sale in 2022. So while that's only $150 more that's still percentage wise, it's still like a 30, a 30%, 35% difference from where we are right now. So this is kind of up for interpretation. I put this purposely in so that everyone could kind of formulate their own opinion about this book, not tied to speculation in any way, shape, or form. Just an awesome cover from an artist that a lot of people in the community do love. So take a look at the numbers on screen. It kind of contradicts most of almost every other book that we've seen, right? So the high here was in 2019. So interesting, modern, non first appearance. I guess you can call it a key because of the cover. So
Yeah, no, I think you covered all grounds. This is a pure buy on cover art and the liking of J. Scott Campbell, and he does have a huge fan base. So I think this is why this is kind of leveled out, right? Because everyone collects how they want to collect. This is strictly a cover buy or an artist like buy. So it kind of shows that plateau. But I love how you switched it up. I love how you threw in a key like this, a modern book. So, guys, it looks like the market's correcting itself. Let's see where it goes from here.
yeah, I mean, let's get back on screen here. I think I was going to kind of wrap up things for the market. And I think you just basically did it. And we did it throughout. Is that I'm not super afraid of this market right now. I know a lot of people are. And I think this is the first episode of this series, right? And I think once we bring these books back up, in in 2 months from now, and we can kind of compare, that's going to start to give us that really good picture of this market analysis. So next month, we're going to take 5 different issues and do the same thing. And then we're going to rotate each month between this 5 and that 5 and this 5 and that 5. So we're just going to go back and forth on that. So it should be interesting to see what we kind of uncover over the next 6-8 months to see where the market is.
All right, Defects, that wraps up our first segment of Market Watch. I want to hear from you guys. Let us know what your predictions are. Let us know what books you want us to put into the Market Watch. Type down in the comments. While you're there, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Check us out on Whatnots Thursday nights, 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And every month, the Defective Collective over on Very Gary's channel will let you know where that is. Till next time, Maddie's going to keep crunching those numbers.
Let's do it. Later, Defects.